Hi everyone, I'm Lauren O'Quinn, host of Trajectory on Location. Joining me now at the GEOINT 2017 Symposium is Dustin Gard-Weiss. Dustin is the Associate Director for Functional Management at NGA. Welcome Dustin, how are you?
Thank you, great to be here.
Good, glad to have you. So can you explain GEOINT functional management to our audience?
Absolutely. Obviously there's a policy definition of GEOINT functional management, and I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to give you my thoughts on functional management. Simplistically, I think it's about optimization. And what I mean by optimization is the fact that as I think about the enterprise, and I think about the capabilities that exist across this enterprise. In fact, if I think about the theme of GEOINT 2017, right, which is about capabilities to address emerging threats, those capabilities are not just US government capabilities. They are capabilities that exist with our international partners. They are capabilities that exist in academia and industry. And so when I think about functional management, especially in the GEOINT arena, it's how do we leverage the totality of those capabilities for greatest effect. And by greatest effect, what I mean is how do we ensure that GEOINT is there to support decision makers when they need that information to ensure that they are making the best possible decisions.
Interesting. And what is NGA's role in these efforts?
The director of NGA has two primary responsibilities. First is as the GEOINT functional manager, and in that capacity, I support him as the associate director for functional management and helping to optimize and lead that GEOINT enterprise. In his other hat, as the director of NGA, he's responsible for running the agency, right, running NGA. And so I have another hat as the director of the GEOINT Enterprise Office that helps to ensure that NGA is best postured to be the best member of that enterprise possible.
Oh, that makes sense. Now this time last year, you explained the top priorities through the National Systems for Geospatial Intelligence strategy. Can you update our viewers on your progress in implementing the strategy?
So last year, we unveiled our NSG strategy here at GEOINT, and we were thrilled to do so. Over the last year, we focused on executing the strategy. And as we began to do that, what we realized as an enterprise is that we actually needed to change the culture. We needed to change how we operate. And so Director Cardillo and his counterparts issued 3 statement of principles that was really meant to change the way we operate as an enterprise. And so first is really about fostering and creating an environment that builds, strengthens, reflects trust and accountability. Second is partnering strategically for greatest enterprise effect, namely working differently together and thinking about the enterprise in a different way. And then the last was developing a common framework for actionable needs, recognizing that needs are foundational and fundamental to everything that we do. So with that as a backdrop, we put in place 8 community initiatives. And I'm not going to talk about all 8, but I do want to highlight a few. First, analytic modernization. Leveraging one of the subcommittees under the GEOCOM, we brought together the community to put in place an analytic modernization roadmap. Namely, how are we going to progress over the next 3 years to put in place tenets of activity-based intelligence, object-based production, structured observation management, with the tools and tradecraft necessary to make that work. And this falls in line with the Director of National Intelligence Intel Community Analytic Modernization effort. We've also made training available in that regard to begin to build that common framework. So we have 20 courses that we've provided that go from beginner to advanced that begin to create that common lexicon across our community. Last year, I talked about certification, and so we'd just like to update you and our viewers where we are on that. We are pleased to report that we are the largest intelligence certification program within the Department of Defense. We've proctored 14,000 tests. We have certified 9,000 GEOINT professionals from across our enterprise, and we continue to move forward. And I'm excited about that. On the training side, we've made 800 courses available, and we're continuing to expand. We've doubled the number of our adjunct professors up to 83, and we expect that number to increase in the coming years. So we're making a lot of progress in that arena. We've also brought together the community to focus on how do we leverage non-traditional sources. So last month, in fact, we brought together 200 members from across the US community representing 20 distinct organizations. And so what we did was we talked about how we're leveraging commercial capabilities today, how we might leverage them differently in the future. We expect to expand that conversation with our international partners, and then leveraging the work that the commercial GEOINT activity is doing with industry to create a different type of partnership and dialogue with industry relative to those needs. We've also, on the mission sharing side, and we call it mission governance, we have established a GEOINT operations board. This is co-chaired between NGA and the joint staff. And the intent is to bring together the operational components of our GEOINT enterprise to talk about current issues. Not only current issues with whether it be with capabilities today, but also about how do we work together and partner differently, whether the word be mission share or federate in an operational environment.
Wow, it's been a busy year.
It's been a good one.
Now, the GEOINT functional manager, Robert Cardillo, recently issued an open letter relaying a comprehensive list of GEOINT needs. Can you tell me about these needs and how industry partners can help?
Thank you for highlighting that. I should have said that is also, I think, one of our great accomplishments of the last year. And the reason I say that is that traditionally, needs have been captured at a classified level, which has really precluded our ability to share them more broadly. But I think that the reason for that at that time made sense. But for this time, our enterprise is changing, right? I talked about optimizing that enterprise before and the capabilities that exist across this enterprise. When I think about industry and I think about academia and I think about international partners, let alone some of our US government partners who don't have access to classified information and can't see those classified needs, we need to harness those capabilities. In fact, as my director says, we'd be negligent if we didn't so do. And so this really reflects that changing dynamic and reflects the reality that capabilities exist outside of a classified space, and we need to think about how do we bring them in, how do we use them, and how do we integrate them with other sources. And so this is really the beginning of that dialogue. Again, I talked about that previously, about changing the nature of the dialogue with industry and academia, and this is really one of the mechanisms by which we're doing that.
Really great information. Thanks for stopping by, Dustin.
You're welcome. Great being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.